Welcome back to PF International. The Senior X30s are on the grid next, and this could be a sign of the times. Mark Litchfield and Stephen Letts on the front row, Matthew George and Dean Hale on row 2 from Scott Blythe and Paul Monks. Keep an eye on Josh Collins in P10. He could be one to charge up through the field. Jade Shepard in P11 and Toby Sowery from the back of the grid, having just spent a season in the F3 Cup. He's come back to karts for a bit of a play, and he's going to want to win. A fantastic start from Litchfield. He gets into the lead nicely, and it's already going to be a close one for Dean Hale up to second position. Toby Sowery in the 52. I think he's already made up a couple of places from the back. And he's been learning in Formula 3 this season in the MSV Formula 3 Cup. He's been one of the shining lights of that championship. Talking of stars, we've got quite a few of them in this championship. Places being gained at the hairpin. Jade Shepard, who impressed us at the Shenington Super Prix, is in this race. Alan caught up with her earlier.
Jade, last time we saw you was coming second in the Super Prix. You had a good run that day, but you're in TKM Extreme that day. You're in X30 today. What's the difference?
There's a lot of bigger competition out there this weekend. It's my first time around this track and first time in X30, and I'm racing against some of the top drivers, you know, that are out every weekend, and this is my 7th day out this year.
7th day out. One of those was at the Shenington Super Prix, where she came from a mile back, Jake, to finish second on that day. She certainly impressed us that day, didn't she?
Certainly did. There's talk of women drivers making their way to Formula 1. Jade's not exactly a bad shout for that at the moment, staying in karts longer than most, but it can be the difference between making or breaking a career, and I think she's been very wise to stick around a bit longer. Out in front, Litchfield from Letts. Third position, that is Matthew George in the 36. As we go back to the helicam, making a move on the inside. Letts takes the lead. Very nicely done on the hairpin.
Looks like Oliver Hodgson may have made a move in the hairpin as well. The Rotax Max World Champion racing in X30 this weekend. We're going to see Mark Litchfield coming up after the break as well. He's going to be racing in the KGB class that he's already secured the championship for. Only 8 drivers in that this weekend.
Well, it's a great little race, this one, for the X30s, because it's kind of a who's who as to who's got the talent in the British motor racing world of karting, isn't it? Because you've got Litchfield, you've got Toby Sowery, you've got Paul Monks, you've got Jade Shepard, who's coming on from the females. A little further into the race, you can see Letts and Litchfield have pulled out a nice gap. You've also got Oliver Hodgson, as you said, in this field. Dean Hale in the 31 has been very strong in the top 6 all weekend, and he's looking good for another good finish here. And we still haven't really got to see the full weight of what Josh Collins can do on the fight back from the lower end of the grid. So there's still plenty of tales to tell in this one. Letts and Litchfield out in front. Litchfield just trying to bide his time and make his move for position. And through to 4th position goes Oliver Hodgson, now chasing down Matthew George. So a great little battle there as he makes the move on Tom Sharp-Reynolds to move up into 4th position. Critical overtake at that point from Hodgson.
Oliver was picked up by the PF International team, Paul Fletcher, last season. Went to Shenington to have a look at a couple of drivers and decided that Oliver was for him, and he's been a good choice. He's been absolutely on fire this season. He's got the World Championships coming up very shortly, Oliver, and I expect to be a contender in that as well in the KF classes.
And if you win World Championships at karting level, you're almost a dead cert for a strong career in single-seaters, sports cars and beyond. It's absolutely critical to be a success at World Championship level, and Hodgson has been one of the kings, the gods of World Championship karting in the last couple of seasons, and it's definitely going to prove to be a good omen for him in the future. George is now coming under massive pressure from Oliver Hodgson, who has really dropped Sharp-Reynolds like a lead brick, and now he is closing in on the back. Well, actually, no, Sharp-Reynolds has caught up with him a little bit again, so they're actually dragging each other along as Hodgson once again has a look on the inside of George, doesn't make the move, and he's not going to make it yet. He knows this place like the back of his hand. He'll have done so many laps around this place as a result of his deal with Paul Fletcher. He knows where to make the right move, and what a circuit this has become. It was brilliant before, of course, but now we've added this new section under the bridge. It's got even better for me.
Yeah, Paul Fletcher described it as the best. I said it's the best track in Britain, Paul, and he went, no, the world.
No modesty there then.
No.
So out in front then, Letts and Litchfield charging away from the rest of the field. Look at the gap they've pulled out now that Hodgson has got into 3rd. We didn't quite see where he made the move on George, but Hodgson has made the move into 3rd, and up comes Sharp-Reynolds into 4th position, and he looks like he might get joined by Toby Sowery, who has come up from the back of the field, don't forget. Now he makes the switch for the inside line. Wow, this boy is absolutely on fire. Every time I've seen him on a racetrack this year, whether it be in karts or cars, Sowery has gone to work and he has done the business when it counts. He is a superstar in the making.
Super 1 Junior TKM champion in 2011, of course, and then won the GP plate here at PF International a year later in the Junior Rotax class, racing in X30 this weekend for a bit of fun, of course.
So a little further into the race, and Litchfield is now starting to set after Stephen Letts up the inside. What a move! And immediately Letts comes back again. These two are going to have an absolute battle royale around PF International, another circuit which Litchfield knows like the back of his hand. And this is going to be absolutely biblical proportions, this battle.
Look at Oliver Hodgson. Hodgson's made the gap up between the two. Here comes Litchfield again.
That was very nicely done, but again, Letts is wise to it, and he's going to try and get him on the switchback into the next left-hander.
No respect whatsoever. We love it, and nor should he have any respect for the 7-time, or make it 8-time British champion now. He's won the KGP class, and here comes Hodgson. He's been a thorn in Litchfield's side this season. His teammate, he's right on the back of him now.
He won't be thinking about Litchfield as the 7-8 times British champion. He'll be thinking of him as just another kart to get through, and that was beautifully timed by Letts. And now Hodgson is going to try and take the pressure to Mark Litchfield, but this is what Litchfield really revels in. He's got an amazing ability to just take pressure, wear it on his shoulders and bat it back. He just loves these situations. He soaks up the atmosphere and the pressure. What a move! Under braking, the back end steps out. That was more rallycross than karting. Amazing.
Brilliant piece of driving, but Mark has been a brilliant driver in karting. You could argue he's been the greatest kart racer in the UK in the history of the sport. Some will argue about that, of course. Other British drivers have gone on to win world titles, but in terms of British Championship racing, nobody has achieved what Mark Litchfield has achieved in karting.
No, indeed. Hodgson's got through into second place as well. I think he managed to take advantage of that manoeuvre just a corner after Mark Litchfield got through. He jumped into second position, and now Letts sees his lead disappear and move down to third position. And as these three battle, look out, chaps, because here comes Toby Sowry in the 52, I believe, up to fourth place.
Yeah, and he's come from the back of the field and well back. And like you said, Jake, he's was it the F3 Cup he won this year?
He absolutely blitzed the Formula 3 Cup in the MSV, and up the inside, very nicely moved there. A nice move there from the 44 to get back into second place. Stephen Letts, he makes the move, but this is just backing them into Toby Sowry, and in fifth position, right behind them, that's Josh Collings, who's come up from the back as well. So the two chargers who started towards the tail end of the grid, they've got themselves in with a shout of victory here. It's 5 men in the brawl.
Fantastic race. This is what we expected to see when we came here this weekend. As I said earlier in the piece, earlier in this programme, been a lot of hype about this class this year, but it's certainly delivering a great race for us here now.
I want to find a kart and get in the race myself. I might have a chance at this rate. It's that ultra competitive. Here comes Hodgson on the back of Letts, desperately trying to knock on the door of second place once more. And even the battle for the lower positions outside the top 10 is getting very heated behind this. Look how close it's got. Litchfield has made a bit of a break from Letts, but straight in behind is Hodgson. He makes the charge up the inside. Toby Sowry's going to try and get through as well to third position. Great move from Sowry, and Collings is going to get in there as well. Amazing. A brilliant four-way fight, and Sowry defends his third position, and through to fourth position again comes Letts. Collings tries to get him back on the switchback. He drops back into position and holds that fifth position.
Last lap as we rejoin it, it is Litchfield that's made the break. That battling with the drivers behind has allowed Litchfield to get away. 57.38, the fastest lap for Oliver Hodgson, but it's Litchfield that takes it, Jake.
Just when you think the competition might topple him, he delivers another masterclass drive. You wouldn't bet against him for a 9th British title in 2015 if this is the form he's in. And he's beaten one of the best crop of talented drivers we've seen for a long time in just that one race. Roll on 2015.
It was a tough race, but luckily I had someone help push me through, which was Ollie. He was really quick, and I mean, following his gaps that he made was good. So third in the end of the race is good, especially as we haven't been in a kart for months.
Oliver, second position. You started well down on the grids, and what was your battle like to get through?
It was just consistently moving up, really. The pace was great. Got there, got through the pack, and you could use the toe. And then at one point, with probably about 10 minutes to go, we had a massive gap in front of us and just fresh air. But we were still quick enough to slowly reel in the leaders. And once we got there, it was always going to be about overtaking at the right point. And I didn't go for the move at the right time. I ended up having a fight for second instead of first.
You didn't quite have it all your own way for the first part of the race, but you kind of ground him down and went forward.
Yeah, it was one of those races really. I knew I wasn't quick enough to pull away at the front, and it's just I was sort of hoping that the rest of the pack could catch up, and then it was a case of making the move at the right point, and then yeah, hopefully they were going to have a little scrap, which they did, and then that was it. Race done. So no, it worked out well.
What about the X30 class? What have you got to say about that?
It's good. The engines seem on a very level playing field, and they're reliable, and they're good fun to drive. They're responsive. They're not the quickest at the end of the straight, but if everyone's on the same, it doesn't matter. So no, I like it. It's good.
Well, Litchfield will be straight back into the car once again for the Formula KGP race straight after the break.